and certainly what happened in your parliament a couple of days back, where I think on the official opposition day of the Scottish National Party, they were basically outmustered by this corrupt Labour Party of Keir Starmer, and essentially denied the vote on the ceasefire. I mean, one can speak about the duplicity and hypocrisy of your government, of the United States government, but what is shameful is that our Muslim countries have been less than helpful in terms of what we can see happening. And so when you've got countries like Saudi Arabia, and I've seen just pictures, I mean, you can't look, when people go on Umrah, which is a lesser pilgrimage, I've seen images and videos of people that wanted to make a political statement in terms of, I think, showing the Palestinian flag as a principled issue, I think, outside the Kaaba, and they were arrested by Saudi police. You're not allowed to speak about these particular issues. I mean, what's the purpose of this global gathering of the pilgrimage, of the Hajj, of the Umrah? I mean,
this was not back slightly, Brother Yusuf. I want to push back, and I'm not one of these hosts where I'm not going to 100% agree with my guests.
Okay.
So I am going to push back, and I do apologize.
Sure, of course, you're entitled to.
I actually have the other view on this particular matter which took place, because the flag was shown when people do the tawaf just not far from the haram itself, while within the Kaaba. I actually disagree, but I actually say that place is a place of ibadah, and it shouldn't be used for taking selfies or
of course,
and making political statements. I don't agree with that. It should have been done in a different location if they were going to do it. And I've seen images where people have and heard stories and saw videos of when people say, well, I'm from Palestine, that the people embrace the brothers and sisters from Palestine. As for showing the flag, it's like me going for Umrah now, having the Pakistani flag.
And no, of course, I get the point.
But yeah, and also the term madkhali, myself, I am actually from the Salafi kind of creed, al-Hadith creed. And I don't call for any type of rebellion against a Muslim ruler. I think any criticism should be done in front of the ruler or people of authority. And then if you are martyred or jailed or whatever, then you are, rewarded for that, because that's the rights of the people. And also I was reading about this in a book called The Creed. I'm sorry, Brother Yusuf, I don't want to digress.
You can go ahead, brother.
I read a lot of creed books, like the Manhaj books, and criticizing the ruler should be done in a private matter. It shouldn't be done in an open manner. And also me and Yusuf are not saying that the Muslims should rebel against the Muslim ruler, start busting up the cities or spray painting.
No, we're not calling for that at all. Not at all. No.
I want to make it clear.
We use our voice to communicate, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm not calling for anarchy. That's not what I'm calling for.
That's right, yeah. I'm not saying don't raise up concerns against the Muslim rulers. I'm not saying that. We should have the ability to do that.
You see the problem, brother? I think the problem what I have is that a lot of these people, I think, that I come across, and not so much in South Africa, because South Africans generally, even the Muslim community, have kind of got a history of struggle with apartheid and so on. And I mean, there was a lot of things going on both sides of the spectrum and war crimes on both sides. But I think the problem is that there is a tendency that people say you cannot even speak out against tyranny and oppression and injustice in the Muslim world. And I think I've got a fundamental problem with that. In the sense of, this is not kind of like a personal affair. It's like, it's not like somebody has engaged in a personal transgression and now you're going, or he's like an adulterer or a fornicator, and you speak to him in private and advise him accordingly, which is, I think, what the hadith that they infer refers to. But I mean, the idea that something has got a global impact and we should just keep quiet about it. I mean, this is our business. We're in the game of speaking out against injustice wherever we see it. And I think
We
that's
are
the point. But
ordered
at the
to do
same
that,
time,
Brother Yusuf. I do agree with you. We are ordered to do that, to speak out against if injustice, even if it's my own father, even against myself,
of course,
or whatever. If I see you doing an injustice, my job is to advise you, and that goes as a blanket command from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala to advise each other, in goodness and so forth. So yeah, I just want to. The reason I want to clarify that is because some people take clips from my channel and say, look what Brother Mohammed is upon and all this. I just want to clarify that because, I'm not for the rebellion of, or of some type of physical,
I understand that you can also be checked by your own government, because I think in your country, you're not even free to say anything positive about Hamas, as I understand. I mean, if you are viewed as, so I think, there's a bit of a tightrope that you walk on. So I've taken that into cognizance, but I mean, from our perspective, we just say it as it is in relation to that. I agree with you to a point that, Hajj has become, and the Umrah has become a kind of a selfie, kind of issue and a show and so on in relation to that. And maybe the point you made is pretty valid, but I think, if you look at the philosophy of Hajj and the philosophy of Umrah, I'm not talking about, just showing flags, but one of the major philosophies, I think I read a book by Ali Shariati, who was Iranian, but not Shiite in terms of extreme Shiite, embracing the Shiite theology. But he made the point that one of the philosophies of Hajj also lies in the fact of it's an ibadah, but also there's a political dimension